Unbelievably, in today's video we have 22 new games coming for the month of October, and there's a little something for everyone. We have some mixed reality, horror, first-person shooters, remakes of some VR classics, and a couple that are considered highly anticipated. If you enjoyed today's video, please support the channel with likes, hype, and get subscribed for more VR gaming content. And of course, let me and others know the games on this list you're excited for. On October 1st, we have a mixed reality game called Laser Matrix, and it's coming to MetaQuest 3. You'll be dodging laser beams, slapping glowing buttons, and you'll be trying to stay alive in procedurally generated arenas which constantly adapts. Upon release, there's two modes called Survival and Time Trials, which also has online leaderboards and features plenty of in-game modifiers. Also on October 1st, we're getting a demo for Project Mix on Quest 3. Now I've seen this game pop up a lot on my X recently due to a successful Kickstarter campaign, and I gotta say the anime style is pretty cool. You play a character called Roan, a thug trying to leave his past behind, with a branching story and multiple romance routes. The PCVR demo landed earlier this year, which I completely missed, but now the demo is coming to MetaQuest 3 and Quest 3S. Next up, we have Blackgate, coming from developers Fun Train on October 2nd, who made the Twilight Zone VR and Exorcist Legion. It's a 4v1 asymmetric horror game. 4 players acting as engineers are stuck repairing a space station while one player controls an alien. But unlike other games of this Dead by Daylight genre, the alien players start off tiny, and they get more powerful the more kills they get, which overall sounds like it could be fun. Now this is a game I didn't think I would ever mention again, and that is Dick Wilde, and it's coming back from PSVR in 2017 and now coming to the Quest 3. It's a fixed position, swampy arcade style shooter which doesn't take itself seriously, and it has some crazy weapons, and as I remember it was pretty good fun. The Quest version apparently comes with balancing tweaks, and apparently is also going to be pretty cheap to buy, so if you missed it all those years ago, now might be a good time to check it out. Also on October 2nd, we have a game called My Monsters. It's a hand-painted third-person platformer with puzzle solving and exploration inspired by Polyarch's Moss. You're joined by a little monster called Motti as you face creatures that represent emotions like loneliness, fear, and anxiety. I like the unique presentation, and obviously seeing this on a flat screen probably does nothing for how it will look in a headset, so if I get some time this month I'll definitely be checking it out because it does look pretty much different from anything else on this list. Star Wars Beyond Victory is coming to MetaQuest 3 on October the 7th, and in case you've missed my previous new VR games videos, this is a mixed reality game and a virtual reality game combined, priced at $20. Beyond Victory has 3 modes: a story-driven pod racing adventure, a holotable style arcade racer, and a playset mode, where you unlock virtual figures and ships to stage your own Star Wars battle in mixed reality. You play as Volo Bolus, a rookie pod racer during the age of the Empire, and your mentor is Sebulba from the Phantom Menace. Now I can definitely see the appeal of using mixed reality for this, but as I said before in previous videos, the draw distance is what's worrying me the most, but a review code should be coming to me very soon, and I'll be dropping my full review shortly. From the developers of the amazing Ultra Wings comes Super RC on October 8th to MetaQuest. This one's all about building, customization, and racing remote control cars at 1/5 the scale. There's a full single player campaign, a sandbox mode, a track creator, car customization, and online multiplayer for up to 8 players. Plus this game does have mixed reality support, so you can race your RC cars around your own room. Also on October 8th, we have a game called The Phoenix Gene for PCVR. It's an on-rails third-person shooter inspired by Star Fox and Ikagura. You play as Firestorm, a phoenix protecting a character called Jackie after a immortality serum experiment goes terribly wrong. Now to be honest, it looked pretty dull on Quest, but the PC edition runs at 120Hz, and there's a free Steam demo available right now. There's been a few games in the past where controlling the character or your ship with your hands in VR has been pretty fun, but I'm not sure on this one overall. On October 10th, we finally get Memoreum, which I played ages ago in an early build and has been on my radar ever since. Memoreum has been built from the ground up by the same team who made the Half-Life Alyx Return to Rapture mod, and it aims to be the next big VR sci-fi survival horror first-person shooter. The story begins at the end on a dying Earth. Humanity sends a colony spaceship called the USCT Century Dawn on a mission to find a new home. But you fast forward 199 years where you are suddenly awoken from hypersleep to discover something has gone terribly wrong, and an infection known as Ichor has spread throughout the ship, and the infection causes the crew of the ship to turn into some dead space-like creatures. We can expect an 8 to 10 hour long campaign with multiple endings, and as I said from what I've played, it's definitely got promise.
What's that? What's going on?
Since 2023, I've been using a VR Rocks lens insert for when I use my Quest 3 and PSVR 2, mainly to avoid damaging the actual lenses, but they also filter out blue light. VR Rock also make custom prescription lenses, which is exactly what I recommend versus trying to wear glasses in VR. They clip into place and have never fallen out thanks to using a magnetic design, plus they have ultra slim frames so they won't affect your field of view. Basically, I use these every single day, and best of all, I don't notice they're even there. So if you click the link in this video description and use the code GamertagVR, you'll save 10%, get some fantastic lenses, and support the channel. On October 9th, we get Scared by Squares. It's an eerie exploration game where you're a prisoner thrown into a digital prison made up by perfect cubes. Naturally, things start going wrong due to some dangerous glitches. It looks very creepy and abstract, and there's a free demo on Quest right now, with early access launching later this month, and a PCVR version is coming soon. Also on October 9th, the legendary Walkabout minigolf is releasing its 36th bit of DLC called Forgotten Fairyland on all platforms. This one takes you through the abandoned remains of an old amusement park that's fallen apart after a mysterious disaster. I gotta hand it to the devs, these DLC packs are some of the most inventive and fun add-ons in any VR game, and it's so rare that you see such constant support for an existing VR title. On October 10th, PSVR 2 owners finally get their virtual hands on Dreams of Another from Pixel Junk. The hook is that you create objects by shooting and causing destruction. The art style was definitely something I'm looking forward to seeing inside the headset, and the VR mode is strangely only available exclusively to PSVR 2. And even though the game is on Steam, there won't be any VR support on that platform. Maybe this will change in the future, but I'm definitely looking forward to reviewing it later this week. On October 16th, we finally get our hands on nDreams Reach, which is one of the biggest releases this month and will be available on all platforms. I recently shared my first impressions on the Quest and PCVR versions, and I came away pretty impressed, and it left me wanting to play more due to the gorgeous graphics, immersive gameplay, and intense platforming and combat. Out of every title on this list, this could be the one that actually delivers some proper AAA VR gaming experience for the month of October. Also on October 16th, we get Vex Mage, a high-speed arena shooter from Nervous System, and it's published by Fast Travel Games. You and up to 2 friends fight waves of enemies in deadly arenas, with a mix of spell slinging and shooter mechanics. As I said, the game does drop on Quest on October the 16th, but the PCVR version will launch a few days later. But demos are already available if you want to take it out for a test run. On October 17th, we get a game, and I'm not sure if I can pronounce this right, called Cité Alexandrie. It's a narrative management game set in an alternate 1980s France where books and records have been banned. You're running an underground cultural network, smuggling contraband like music and literature to keep culture alive, which overall sounds very different to any other game on this list. On October 22nd, we see the release of Trenches VR. It's coming to all platforms and is described as a psychological horror game set in World War I. You're stuck in the trenches and you have to deal with supernatural horrors, but the big twist is the enemies can actually hear you when you breathe into the mic. So staying calm literally keeps you alive, or you could simply mute the mic, but they probably won't allow that. And if you die, you have to start the game all over again, making this a bit of an unusual roguelike of sorts. On October 23rd, PCVR users finally get Wanderer the Fragments of Fate. This is a remake of one of the best time-travelling puzzle adventures I've ever played in VR, and I'm assuming with all other platforms receiving updates since the troubled launch back in April, the PCVR version should be a smooth experience. You play a character called Asher, who embodies different people in different time periods, and overall I personally found it a fantastic and clever puzzle game, and there's also a bit of action mixed in some later levels. On October 24th, we get another game I'm probably going to pronounce incorrectly called the Amygadala Protocol, which is coming to the Quest. It's a survival puzzle game set in the mysterious Crestwood Institute. You're a detective investigating the disappearance of a neurologist, and it spirals into some sort of conspiracy with dark and unethical experiments, and it looks to have quite a creepy atmosphere with puzzle solving and plenty of mystery. Another huge release for the month of October is Arken coming to Quest. It's a single player physics action adventure that released on PC and PSVR 2. Incredibly, the developers have gone above and beyond for the Quest release, proving that Quest 3 can really hold its own when ports are done really well. My first impressions honestly pretty much blew me away, and I'm looking forward to re-experiencing this game all over again on standalone. Also on October 30th, we get Zero Caliber 2, the remaster on PCVR, after its initial release back on Quest last year. I recently recently shared my first impressions of the PCVR version, which featured upgraded graphics, reworked combat, and overall it was really awesome to play it all over again. Along with the single player campaign, there's also co-op and PvP for up to 4 players, but weirdly there's no crossplay with Quest, which does make me worry about the PvP side of things. Now obviously you can't have a month go by without some sort of VR zombie game dropping, and that's where Drop Dead the Cabin steps in, because it's coming to PCVR on October the 30th. It's a 4-player survival shooter with cross-platform multiplayer, and it also has a flat screen mode. It's actually a really good game, and I'm looking forward to seeing the visual upgrades for PCVR. And if you want to see how this game looks before you pay for it, there's a free demo coming during Steam Next Fest, which starts on October 13th. And finally, to finish today's video, Zero Caliber Remastered is coming to PSVR 2. It's one of the first VR shooters that went viral back in the day and is getting a fresh coat of paint for the PSVR 2. Unfortunately, I can't find any info right now regarding adaptive triggers, headset rumble, eye tracking, or have a native refresh rate or reprojection. The devs at Xreal are aiming for October, but haven't locked in any exact date yet. But they've also confirmed that Zero Caliber 2 is planned for PSVR 2 later on. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you to anyone who likes and subscribes, and I'll see you on the next one.